All right, ladies and gentlemen, in this chapter, as you know, chapter 4, we are talking about linear equations. In the first section, 4.2, we learned about linear equations that are in a specific form called standard form. Now, in this lesson, we're going to talk about a little bit of a different form. This is called slope-intercept form. Now, over the past couple of days, I've had you doing a lot of work with slope. And why is that? Well, because we're going to be talking about slope-intercept form, and you need to know slope in order to do slope-intercept form. So, I mean, it's the word is in the name, folks. So anyway, what is slope-intercept form? Slope-intercept form of linear equation is going to look like this right here, I'm highlighting in yellow. Now, if you're going to notice, let's compare it to standard form. I'm going to write standard form next to it, okay? So in standard form, we had ax plus by equals c. Now, the difference here, like I told you in the last video, when it's in standard form, your x and your y are on the same side of your equation. So x and y are over here on the left side together. In slope-intercept form, that's not the case. Y and x are separated, okay? So you'll have y over on the left side and x over on the right side. So that's how you can tell the difference between these two. Let's see. In slope-intercept form, your m represents your slope, and the b represents y-intercept. Okay? So let's look down here. I have a couple of steps listed to help you out. Graphing an equation in standard form. Here's what you need to do. Identify the slope and the y-intercept. How are you going to do that? Well, if the equation is in this form, which it should be, your slope is going to be whatever number comes before x, or whatever number, I guess, is attached to x. And then your y-intercept will be whatever constant is out here to the right all by itself, okay? So identify the slope and y-intercept. Okay? Once you know the slope and the y-intercept, you just need to plot the y-intercept on, well, obviously, the y-axis, because it's a y-intercept. Then identify the rise and the run, which is the slope. Count up or down for the rise. Remember, rise goes up or down. And obviously for the run, we've talked about this. Never go to the left, always run to the right. Okay? Okay, then your last step, connect the two lines with a straight edge. So just like when we were in standard form, we'd plot the x and y-intercept, connect with a straight edge. Well, this time we're going to plot that y-intercept and just kind of go and follow our slopes. So let's look at an example. Number 19, all right, is this in slope-intercept form? Y equals mx plus b. Just because this isn't a plus doesn't mean anything. It's like saying plus a -5. It means the same thing, and you should know that by now. Okay, so here, let me highlight. Here we have our slope, and here we have our y-intercept. Okay, so what are we going to do with those two pieces of information? Well, we're going to plot our y-intercept on the y-axis. So it's at -5. Let's go down here and find -5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the y-axis because it is a y-intercept. And our slope is 9 over 2. So rise 9 and go to the right 2. Rise over run. Rise over run. So up 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And over 2. 1, 2. Point's going to go right there. All right, now this isn't a big enough graph for me to go up 9 more, but ideally you probably should so that you can get a better idea of what the graph's going to look like. But for this problem, this is going to be enough. So let's take our straight edge and go ahead and connect the lines. Remember to go the whole length of the graph. Don't forget your arrows. And that's how you graph the line of this equation. All right, so let's go over a few things here. Slope. I should have actually done this first. Rise 9, run over 2. The y-intercept was at -5. And what type of line is this? Is this a positive line or a negative line? It's positive. Okay. Next one. Let's move on over. We have an equation. Is it in slope-intercept form? Y equals mx plus b. Sure is. Our slope here is just a number. It's not a fraction the way we usually see them, but that's no big deal. We can take care of that. Any number, how can you write it as a fraction? Put it over 1. All right, so that'll be 2 over 1. So let's see. Our slope is 2 over 1. Rise 2, run 1. Y-intercept is at -2. And what type of line? Well, let's graph it and see. So on the y-axis, let's start at -2. Rise over run is 2 over 1. So we can actually put a couple points here, and let's do that. Up 2, I should probably move my pen. Up 2 over 1, put a point. Up 2 over 1, put a point. Up 2 over 1, put a point. You get the idea. That should be enough. All right. Let's connect these lines with a straight edge. The whole length of the graph. Don't forget your arrows. And what kind of line is this? Positive line. And you know that it should be a positive line because why? The slope is positive. Okay, so let's flip over and see. All right, number 21. I want you to pause the video right now and try this on your own. When you think you've got it, resume and check your work against mine. Okay, does your line look like mine? Did you remember that when you have a negative slope, your rise needs to go down? So when you started at your y-intercept of -4, did you go down 7 and then run 3? You should have. I hope you did. I know that the graph cuts off at -10 and you needed to go down to -11, but hopefully you just did what I did and just eyeballed it and went down 1 extra and moved over 3. No big deal. That was an easy fix. Okay, so just to review once again, y equals mx plus b. The number that's attached to x here is going to be your slope, and the constant out here by itself, -4, is going to be our y-intercept. Okay, 22, 23, and 24. I'm going to leave those up for you to practice. So don't forget to do those. Pay close attention just to kind of get you started here. Why is it so blurry? There we go. To get you started in 23, please realize that the slope here in front of x is not only negative, but there's no number there. So what should it be? It should be a 1. So y equals, it's kind of like saying -1x minus 4. Okay? And 1, to write it as a fraction, would be 1 over 1. So you should be able to figure that out. 24, once again, here we have a slope. Regular slope, no big deal. Just remember that it's negative, so you need to go down 5. Up here, this is a little different. If you need help remembering how to do something like this, please look back at our last video. That's 4.1 part 2. So basically the video we did the day before this. So if you've already forgotten, that video is still up and available for you to watch again. So be really careful how you fill this information out, and we will check it when you come to class tomorrow. So don't forget to finish these 3 problems, also your summary questions that are on Schoology. Have a great night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.